All right, guys, welcome back. Here we are again, me and my friend Otis,
Hey guys.
back with recording an episode of the Plotcast about the Orville this time. We're doing episode 2, and I'll give the word to Otis because he's in charge of this part of the Plotcast.
Super, thank you. So, hey guys, before we begin, my friend's putting some work in his YouTube channel. You could help him out by hitting the subscribe button.
Oh, yes.
Go there, hit subscribe, come back, listen to us talk about episode 2 of The
You
Orville.
don't even have to go anywhere, just click subscribe on the red button.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, all right, so a couple of things to go over. I think taking a slightly different approach to last time where we just went through it basically frame by frame. I was thinking maybe we can try and analyze it a bit differently.
All right.
So I don't know what you feel about it. I mentioned it to you just before we started recording as well. I noticed a very hard A and B story in this episode, meaning one story and
Yeah.
another story coming together at the end. Except of course for opening and ending. So I recommend we start with the opening, talk about our main A story, then talk about our B story, and
All
with
right.
the
Let's
ending, and then general thoughts. What do you think about that?
let's try it. We'll see by the view count how much people like it.
All right. So our opening. Bortus and Ed Mercer in Ed's captain's room, talking to each other with a great reveal.
Yeah, so apparently they breed eggs and everyone is homosexual. Um, I don't still know how they really conceive, but
Yeah, but you did mention from last episode, and everybody who listens should know this. You were wondering, and it was about the only question you had about
yeah, I know.
Bortus, how they reproduce. So the answer is eggs. They
Eggs,
lay eggs. They have to sit on them for 21 days.
21 days. Yeah.
And then the egg hatches. So indeed, still a question: how does this all male?
I have to
Uh,
say the egg at the end, I don't know if it grows during the breeding or yeah, it was very big. So I'm really wondering how he produced this egg.
Maybe he has a gigantic cloaca hidden underneath that uniform. We don't know.
Cloaca?
What the chickens have to lay eggs. It's their
Oh,
cloaca. Probably all birds have a cloaca. I
I
just
thought
know that with
they
chickens
just
they
used
call
their
it that.
butt.
It's called a cloaca,
All right, cool.
I think. At least, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm pretty sure that's the
Nice.
word I'm looking for.
Well, I learned something today at least.
You always do when you're talking to me.
That's true.
So yeah, the Moklans lay eggs. It takes them 21 days. We also learn his partner's name, Clyden, and
Clydus, Clyden, yeah.
it's a somewhat large egg. So yeah, it's a bit awkward. I think the only other thing to really call out about our opening scene is the fact that Ed has a
Kermit.
as a mascot, the Kermit described as a great leader or a leader I admire. I can't recall exactly what he
Yeah,
says because he inspires greatness in the people around him. So yeah, if you're gonna describe Kermit, that's a good take on him.
I guess, yeah. Well, it's been a long time since I saw the Muppets, so
Also on Disney Plus in Belgium.
yeah. Never was a fan of the Muppets, to be honest.
No?
No.
Uh,
I like the two old guys though on the balcony. They always had
uh,
good jokes.
what is it? Oh, Stadler and Waldorf, I think. I don't know for sure. It's something
Waldorf,
along
yeah,
those
could be true. I don't
lines.
know.
They're always the best piece. But still, I mean, we grew up with the Muppets Tonight on television, so already the Muppet Show itself is a bit too old. So we did see some of that stuff here, but Muppets Tonight, I
I
loved
didn't
it.
know there was difference, but yeah, yeah. Well, pff, it was fun enough, I guess.
Not a fan of the old movies.
I,
Christmas Carol
I
with the
don't think I
Muppets.
ever saw them. Maybe I did. It didn't
Okay,
speak to me when I was little, otherwise I would have remembered.
next movie night, the Muppets all night long.
Yeah, I don't know. Um,
No, but yeah, that's the intro, the opening. So they're just a bit of funny conversation to explain why, to really set the scene for our A story. Because our A story, and we get a bit of an introduction before it really begins. So the entire crew's together. We're on the bridge. We're discussing the fact Bordis has an egg and he won't be on the bridge for the next 21 days. We also learn that their version of the warp drive is called a quantum drive.
oh, I didn't notice.
I don't know if they mentioned it in previous episode. Yeah, I was paying attention to it now because I was wondering if they called it warp or not. So
Yeah,
kind of. And yeah, then we get our distress signal, the
yeah.
USS Blériot.
I liked John's comments. Yeah, that's the only thing I wrote down. He was asking the right questions.
Being a little bit cynical as well, or a bit sarcastic. Well, I know it's your favorite character, so it works.
Yeah,
But yeah, we get to the ship. We're hailing them. There's the captain of the Blériot talking. Everything is a bit. I don't know. What was your first? Because I have of course already seen the episode before. What were you thinking when you first saw the stranded ship? How did you take in the scene?
Um, well, I didn't expect it to be a trap. I was kind of suspicious maybe at the start, but then when I saw his parents, I was like, "Oh, I really love that actor," and so
Mm-hmm.
my suspicions were gone.
Yeah,
Um,
Jeffrey Tambor. Yeah,
yeah, he's also in Arrested Development.
yeah.
If
He's in a lot of comedic series
yeah,
I've
he's
seen. He's also in The Hangover. I
too
think the
bad.
movies.
Too bad. Maybe I hope we get to see more of him. I do like it that he's Seth's or Ed's dad. I hope we see more of him.
Who knows? But yeah, indeed, we see the parents. We get quite some awkward conversations. So something I did like was that the parents were a bit negative to the fact they saw Kelly.
Yeah,
But basically, awkward comedy leads to them going to that ship.
yeah,
And before they go, and that's really the start, the main story of the episode is Alara, you're the ranking officer. You have command.
yeah. I was hoping when she got command, I was hoping that she would suck
Well,
because
she did a bit, huh?
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
arc, huh?
because I was hoping that that would be her weakness, that she would really suck at command.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, she was a bit, yeah, a young person, first time in command. Very quickly things also go wrong. Ed and Kelly go over. And then that's a bit their B story. They go over. Turns out the ship is not a ship, but some kind of
yeah, and then she takes some legalized cannabis from the what's it called? The
what do they
transform?
call?
No, the it
No.
has a name.
Replicator. In Star
Replicator.
Trek, it's a replicator.
Yeah, so she takes some cannabis from the replicator, but then they are making a problem from the Connor drinking beer. I didn't think
No.
that was
They made a problem out of Connor drinking beer while flying. When Kelly gets her, yeah, basically space cake, because
yeah,
it's a cookie or a cake. It's a cannabis edible. So when she takes it, she tucks it in her pocket and she says for later, because
yeah,
the
okay,
whole reason she gets it is that we get our next to her ex-married scene. They're talking to each other, and then she's like, "What did your parents say? What did they think?" And he's first trying to downplay it, and she's like, "Oh no, come on, be honest." And then he's like, "Yes, my mom called you bitch 36 times
46
in one
times.
or 46 times in one sitting,"
Yeah, I thought it
which
was kind of tame. I think he should have gone in more, I guess.
Yeah, but still, I like the fact that she then gets up, she gets her cannabis edible, and she says, "Just in case."
I wouldn't probably prefer eating or consuming cannabis in a kind of like a setting like that, like with my step or not step um, parents-in-law. I mean, of course they're not no longer together, I guess, but no, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't enjoy.
I don't know. When the paranoia hits, situation could be funny for everyone else. I think you yourself could quite likely have a bad time. You're
Yeah,
right. I don't think with the in-laws is.
alcohol would be much better.
Yeah, yeah. Depends a bit on what kind of drunk you are, though. If you're an aggressive drunk, that's also not a good idea, probably.
Yeah, but I guess they just wanted to get it in there that cannabis is legalized by now. Uh,
Yeah,
that's why
yeah,
they had this little scene.
yeah. But yeah, turns out the ship is a hologram. They were scanned also when they were approached. There was like a throwaway. To me, that was why I thought it was a trap the first time I saw it,
Hmm.
and I noticed it even more now because I knew it was a trap.
Hmm.
It was like the scanning and the excuse that is given. I don't recall the exact wording, but I remember it being very weak.
Yeah, I think yeah, it was because his screen. Yeah, I also thought it was a pretty weak excuse. It's like because his visuals on the screen weren't working properly.
Yeah, it's also only the second episode you see, so you're kind of like, oh, is this gonna be a thing now? And then it's, I know it was because it's a trap. Okay,
Hmm.
so it makes sense. But yeah, so they're getting kidnapped, and then we basically, for them, it's a few marital scenes. We'll definitely address them, but the main part of our episode really starts here because Alara is now in command. The two commanding officers are gone, so she has no support. And I did like her initial reaction. It's very similar to the last episode's no, 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 no. We again see someone running away from the bridge
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
to Bortus, and I do like the way that's framed with him sitting on that egg, being very frustrated, looking a bit sweaty even.
I guess it should be hot in there. Yeah,
Yeah, but I just thought the visual was like perfect. It was a great joke. I really, really liked it because it was also, it served the story as well, and I do like that.
yeah. I didn't really think much of it. Yeah, I thought it was yeah.
Not
I
even a
mean,
chuckle or a smile, nothing out loud, but just
maybe I've not warmed up enough to the I forgot his name
Bortus.
to Bortus to get a chuckle out of me.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I thought it was yeah, you could see his ass a little bit. That was maybe kind of smile worthy. Other than that, um, not really.
Yeah. But yeah, he's like, yeah, no, I'm not leaving this egg. I need to make sure my child gets a proper birth.
Still, why can't Clyden or Clydon
Mm.
take over for a while?
Yeah, the only thing I can think of, it's a very good question. The only thing I can think of is that maybe it's because the one who laid the egg or the one who didn't lay the egg has to be the one
Yeah,
sitting
I
on it.
cannot think of anything other than tradition though. So,
Yeah,
um,
but who knows how their biology works?
yeah,
Maybe
could be.
it's Clyden's egg, and now Bortus is by sitting on it, also injecting some of his DNA in it. I
Yeah,
don't
could
know,
be.
a bit like a fish. Fish lay eggs, and only then the sperm,
Yeah, could be. Yeah,
fertilizes. So maybe,
could be.
yeah. But yeah, I'm pulling this one out of there as well. There's no in-episode explanation, at
Well, could be
least.
they explain it later.
Yeah, but at least not in episode. So
Yeah.
it's a fair question. But yeah, she's there. She's trying to explain he won't hear anything of it. He's like, you're in command. And then her next logical step is, okay, if there's no support, I'll get drunk.
Yeah, that was kind of well, I guess to give you some courage if you're not gonna like go straight up drunk. I think
Yeah, I
it's
know, I
should
know.
be shouldn't be a real problem. But I was kind of like, or that's later, I guess, when she does the tractor beam thing with the, the vessel, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what you mean. She drinks again in the episode, if that's what you mean.
No, no, no. I'm talking about late, like, okay, she
Tractor
drinks.
beam is oh yeah, tractor. You know, I think she drinks before the tractor beam. I think this is still her getting her courage. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, true,
you're
true,
making
true.
the thing she drinks first, because then we get to her first initial command experience where she's a bit awkward. I
Yeah,
think the actress also does a very good job of playing that youthful uncertainty. I know the first time I for my job I had to take a more commanding
yeah,
role in a project. I was also a bit not this but her responsibility is also much larger. But I do remember the nerves.
yeah,
Something that indeed with experience goes on, which is well addressed in the episode. But I think in general we can describe like the next what 5 to 10 minutes as the awkwardness of command a bit,
yeah, I guess.
because I think it's also then around the time Dr. Finn arrives on the bridge, and then we get the tractor's
Oh,
scene.
yeah, she did arrive before.
Yeah, because she's playing a bit in this episode. She's a bit the mentor role. I think
Yeah,
she
yeah.
says, "I'll be your Obi-Wan" or something later on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't have a lot of notes, so it's really by memory now. So if I mix some things, just let me know.
Yeah. Well, I was like, so the tractor beam goes off. She ignores an obvious uh warning from
Isaac.
Isaac. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I'm not liking her. Yeah, I'm even liking her less after this. And by the time the vessel explodes and she runs off to see the damage, I was okay. I hate this woman.
Alara,
Yeah,
I know, I got a bit, I understood. It's first time you're the boss, so you don't want to be seen as second guessing yourself. You want it to be good. You're also, in this case, she's also extremely nervous because the captain and the XO are both gone. So she was not prepared for this. And she made a wrong decision. And what I do like in the episode is that she does feel that remorse for her wrong decision, which again, Isaac did warn her that something could be up, but yeah, she ignores that initial input.
yeah. She feels remorse because there was damage done. Not, I mean, if there wouldn't have been damage done, she wouldn't have learned anything.
Yeah, but if there wasn't damage done, then she would have been right to make the calls she made.
No, she
So
still wouldn't have been right to do that. Still an unknown vessel. Still don't know
yeah,
what
it's still
happened.
an unknown vessel, but on the other hand, what they do need to know what happened to their leadership. They need to know what happened to their ranking officers. So did she go about it in the right way? Well, the episode clearly states no, this was not the right way. On the other hand, we don't know what the procedures are in this universe, and yeah, she had to do something.
Okay, I don't
Though I
like her.
agree, if your science officer says don't, a good commander will then take everybody's input first. Yeah, it's. I mean, Picard would gather everybody in his what does he call it? His ready room, and he would just say, "Okay, now you, now you, now you," and based on everybody's input, he would make the decision. But yeah, she's 25, first time in command on a
Well,
fast
yeah.
track.
Well, okay, she's 25, first time in command, but still, I mean, at that point, when you get that command role, I mean, she is like after what's his name again? Uh,
Bortus.
Bortus, the most ranking officer, so she could have. prepared for the situation, like mentally.
Yeah, but I don't think, and they do a clear job of establishing this, that she is not mentally prepared for losing her captain and XO in the first 10 minutes that she has a command.
Well, she should be. I think she should be. I mean,
All right, all right.
I'm not
Uh,
forgiving. I'm not as forgiving as you are, I guess.
Maybe your opinion of her will evolve in time. But so at the moment, I can write down so not a fan of Alara.
Yeah,
I think she was also the character you had the most criticism on in the previous episode.
indeed.
I think you just don't like pretty women.
Um, well, I don't think she's that pretty at all.
Oh, come on.
But no, but no, that's not it. I have, I don't have a problem with the character, but I don't like her personality in this episode, and I didn't like her superpowers in the first episode. So it's kind of unrelated. Could have been two different characters.
So let's see what it is in 2 weeks' time that you don't like about.
Yeah,
But yeah, okay, but yeah, she has the guilt because it's by her incorrect decision. There's damage because they tracked her in first their shuttle, then the pod, the transport pod. It explodes. Luckily outside of the ship still, but yeah, hangar bays destroyed. People are wounded. She has a lot of remorse, so she goes to tell the chief, who I recognize as Andy from According to Jim.
oh, that's him. Yeah,
Yeah, it's another one of those comedic series actors.
yeah,
So she goes, and then she's like, "Oh well, whatever you need, whatever you need." So she's clearly dealing with some remorse. So she's also in sick bay at around that time. I think she also goes and informs Boris, who just gets angry and chases her away. So she's panicking.
yeah,
So she goes to the infirmary, says, "Dr. Finn, you're the only one who can relieve someone of command now.
yeah.
Can
That's just cowardice.
That's panicking when something
That's
goes wrong
cowardice
and you
because she could also just say, and I'm pretty sure that she could, uh, just say to her crew, okay, now you are in command, because I deem myself not fit. I'm pretty sure that's possible.
have you ever been in a situation where you're panicking, everything's spiraling out of your control, and you're doing things that later on you're saying, "Oh, I should have done this, I should have done that." I
Um,
think she's in that headspace right now.
yeah, but if you're a bridge officer, fourth in command of a starship, even if it's just a medium starship, I think you should get over yourself.
Yeah, but she is the subject of affirmative action. She was fast tracked. We have no idea. I imagine.
All right, that's the only thing that you might have a point on. But then she shouldn't be the fourth ranking officer.
Yeah, no, but that's Central Command's fault, and that's not her fault.
All right, okay. Um, Still, I thought it was a coward move. She could have also relieved herself.
Yeah, it wasn't the bravest of actions, and I do like Dr. Finn's response, that she, rather than saying okay, she refuses and she instead gives advice.
Yeah, of course.
And she did play a very well. She did play the role very well here of acting as the advisor. And I think it's around here that she says, "I'll be your Obi-Wan," and of course, the non-human does not get this archaic, very old reference from this timeline's perspective, of course.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. Still, I just want to say one more thing.
Hmm.
If you're panicking,
Hmm.
it's not an excuse to ask the doctor to relieve you of command. You could just as well relieve yourself of command when you're panicking.
You mentioned that before. Um,
Okay, but let's.
well noted.
All right,
I'm saying let's put a pin in it. Let's see if we ever need to return on this. I still blame Central Command more than Alara.
all right, okay.
But yeah, we start developing a bit in our B story here. So turns out that that Ed and Kelly wake up in their old apartment. Very short scene. We don't know what's going on yet, but we do get a bit of a view in from their relationships perspective why it used to work. They do click
Mm-hmm.
again a bit more, but that's basically all we're seeing. So that's why I'm saying let's focus maybe for now on the A story, where
I,
the sorry, go ahead.
I was really interested in this part because I thought it might be like an alternate reality kind of thing.
Yeah, so they do a good job of at this point it's still pretty much a mystery what's going on. So I do like the scene from that perspective. It's neat. They wake up and it reminded me of I'm gonna bring Voyager in here again when Harry Kim wakes up and he's back on Earth before the Voyager launch and he's with his girlfriend Libby.
How do you remember all of this?
I love Star Trek a little bit too much.
I guess you've seen it way too many times.
But yeah, so it's because it's a bit of summer. It's also waking up, looking outside, seeing the city, get an implication of yeah, we're not in space, we're back home. What's
Hmm.
going on? So my first thought, I remember first time seeing it, I was like, oh, Ed's now playing a Harry. They're back in time. What are they doing with this? There's not a lot of story yet to work in the time angle.
Yeah, my first impression was that they would, yeah, that they were kind of doing some kind of experiment on them, like
Mm,
whoever kidnapped them,
yeah,
to see if they like. I was thinking maybe like a Q kind of experiment where they would force them to get back together by forcing them to be together,
uh
or something like that. I was thinking at that
yeah.
point.
Yeah, it's a very short scene, but there's a lot of questions that it raises. So it's from that perspective pretty good. They can't get out. They don't know what is happening. But we get back to the ship. We get back to our main story, where Isaac is giving an update. He's analyzed the many sensor readings they had, and he noticed that the I'll call it a buoy for now. It had a pulse, and he believes it was a molecular transfer. So that's the first time we get an indication of beaming technology. It's also an implication that the Union, unlike the Federation, the Union doesn't have side-to-side beaming technology, which also explains why in the previous episode they went with shuttles to the planet. I think this further cements that the transporter is not a
Oh yeah,
technology in this world.
oh yeah. I didn't notice that.
Am I reading too much into things again?
No, but what you mean is like they can't, so they have to have transporters at the location where they go as well as the location where they transport from, or they have it not at all.
I think they don't have it at all because
Oh
so far in
yeah,
two episodes we've seen no clue of it.
yeah.
And when he says molecular transfers, they're all a little bit confused of and
Oh yeah,
they
yeah,
catch on
yeah,
very quickly, but it's at least I got from
yeah, yeah.
the
You,
way it
yeah,
was
you're
acted that
probably right. I wonder maybe Seth didn't like the cheap escapes they had in Star Trek sometimes with the transporter, and
yeah,
maybe that's why
even
he left it out.
yeah, even in Enterprise they brought in the transporter even though the setup there was before they had transporters.
Hmm.
So that's a bit of a writing crutch sometimes as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if we just skip the Ed and Kelly scenes for a second, we'll get there and then we'll tie it all together. The next big step is that Isaac also figures out where the signal went to. So he figures out, ah, they're over there somewhere in the system by the Calavon. And I don't know if you watch with subtitles, but the first time they mentioned the term, I did not hear Calavon.
I didn't watch it with subtitles. I don't know if I heard Calavon or Calahan or.
Yeah, I heard the Taliban first, and I was extremely confused.
No, I didn't hear that.
But yes, it turns out that they're called the Caliban. They're superior, so it's a bit like the like Isaac's race, the Kazon, I think they're
Yeah,
called.
beats me.
But yeah, it's so they are more technologically superior.
Hmm.
So Alara contacts the fleet admiral to ask permission to save her crew.
Yeah,
And there we get a no, you're not allowed to go rescue your crew.
and at that point, I thought, okay, she's gonna redeem herself and she's gonna go and get them.
Yeah,
Anyway,
to be fair, this one, I thought this was a good pivot point indeed to make that decision. They opted to wallow in her angst a bit longer. I do like the fact that out of frustration, she breaks Ed's desk. That's like, to me, I don't know, it's like, yes, I would be as frustrated at this point. So,
yeah, of course. I guess Kermit didn't really inspire any leadership in her because she has a long look at Kermit and decides to be a bad leader instead of a good one. So yeah, Kermit might be just for Seth or Ed. Uh,
yeah,
Actually, a good example, I guess.
yeah. So, anyway, time progresses a little bit. The repairs are complete. And then we're on the bridge. Alara's in chair and she says, set course for Earth.
And I was like, what a bitch. And then I was hoping this whole thing was a test for her to fail or not to fail. Um, because yeah, I didn't think she was gonna change her mind immediately. Also, it was like for me the only thing that would redeem her from that point if it was just the whole thing was a way to push her buttons specifically. So yeah, I was thinking it was maybe a test at that point.
Yeah. To me, the problem I had a bit with this is the main problem. I love the episode. I love the show, but if I can say one problem with the episode, it's pacing. I think we're two-thirds into the story, and she now says to Earth, so you can, if you think three arcs, you can think, okay, this is the low point, and then we'll get to the heroic after. But from here, the things start feeling rushed. So she says, set course for Earth. The crew gets angry. Malone speaks up, gets relieved from duty.
Hmm.
Then we have her conversation with the doctor, where the doctor's playing a bit of devil's advocate, stresses the importance of command, also says, yeah, look, you have two options now. You can follow your orders and go set course for home, and everybody will hate you, or you can take the risk here, save the captain and the XO, as you're kind of indicating you do want to do, because by then she does indicate she wants to. And
I didn't get that feeling.
no, I got that feeling a bit from
Yeah, she wants to, but not because of any moral obligation, but because everyone hates her.
yeah, it's a bit it's a little bit petty. We don't know how quickly Zelayans mature. She's playing it a bit like, the end of your teenage years when you're starting to
Well, now
be.
you're just looking excuses. I mean,
But okay, very
to
well.
me, it was when she did make the decision to go back, I was still like, okay, but I still don't like you because you only did this because other people were pressuring you.
And that's what I mean with the pacing issue is the
Yeah, she could have had like, if it was more well paced, she could have had like
a
a,
proper
a
revelation.
yeah, I guess.
And we're missing the prop. Indeed, the way the scenes follow each other now, it's as though she only saved Ed and Kelly because otherwise people wouldn't like her. And we do get other parts in the episode here and there where she does mention Kelly is her friend and things like that. So you do. in general, there should be more at play here. I firmly believe there is more at play, but I do understand why from here on out it's a bit more annoying to follow her.
Well, it like the comment about Kelly being her friend. I understand they couldn't go like deep into that because they haven't known each other for a very long time yet. But they could have gone into like what is morally the right thing to do. Maybe a conversation with the egg guy and
Hmm. Bortus.
Bortus. Uh,
What might have helped as well is if this episode was a bit later in the series, because so far we've had one episode, and if this friendship was we had already had more of a chance to see, because we now get the one when they're leaving the ship, Ed and Kelly. Then Kelly does have some kind words for her, so it's kind of setting it up, but you don't really feel the friendship yet. You haven't seen the friendship evolve yet. It's not, again, to bring in Voyager with Tom and Harry. Very quickly in the pilot episode, it's established these two are gonna be
the
friends.
friendship thing is less strong anyway
Mhm.
because oh, you wouldn't save her if they were like not your friends. That's also wrong to me. So
Yeah, no, but it is an additional impetus, and it's kind of establishing in general that the bridge officers could slowly become friends, and they would do this for anyone on the crew. But that needs time to develop. So that's why I'm saying maybe if the episode was a little bit later in the season and a little bit, the pacing was a bit different, might have worked a bit. I still like the episode, but I do see.
well, I still like the episode. It's not that, and it's not because I don't like a character or I don't like a character's decisions that I don't like the show. I
Mhm.
mean, that's part
No,
of
no,
it.
no, no. I can criticize many things in everything, and I still like it. I fully understand, but yeah, but I think a lot of the problems we're having now with the character are more pacing related than
We'll see.
yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know. Because she has her talk with the doctor. She goes meet up with the crew in the mess. She very quickly there decides, okay, we're going after Captain. She has an inspirational speech that's not really inspiring. Everything goes a bit too fast. We get to the bridge, and Isaac already has a plan. He's gonna use the same holographic technology that was in the buoy. He's gonna use that. They'll need to turn down non-essential power because the Kalon, I did write it down, it's the Kalon, are on the same level as the Calavon.
Hmm.
So he's sure they'll get through the scanning check. Though how with just a hard light hologram, I assume hard light, we don't even know for sure, but how with a hologram you will trick a sensor.
Yeah, that was kind of hard to believe as well for me, but I didn't really mind.
Yeah, no, but I could have done with a technobabble scene here.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But yeah, so indeed, through the check, they arrive at the star system. They get through the check. Everything's going fast now. Um, we're at the planet, and um, Alara and Isaac are going to land, and the doctor is now the ranking officer, so she has command. And this is where our A and B stories start flowing together. So we might want to circle back a bit on Ed and Kelly. So what happened to them after they got transported is basically they woke up in a recreation of their apartment that they had back on Earth when they were still living together. They have some nice, touching discussions. It's a bit a reawakening of the flame, if we can put it that way. And then we have the morning after, and the window through which we saw the
Yeah,
city.
before that, I
Hmm.
thought my prediction was already coming through this episode
Hmm.
that they would have sex, but I guess it didn't because they were in a zoo. Otherwise, if they gotten more one more day, and I think the guys from the zoo should have just like left the the whatever screen black so that they could view inside. But you know, uh, Ed and Kelly couldn't view outside, then they would have seen some real action probably. Because now it was kind of boring, right? I mean,
Maybe, maybe I don't know. I don't think the first night because the first night they didn't know us. By the way, guys, the reveal is they're at a zoo because I got interrupted before I could say the reveal is the zoo. So they're in the zoo. But I think before the first night they didn't know they were in a zoo. They figured something was wrong, but they were in their apartment and they weren't at the sex level yet.
no,
And
but gave if you gave them one more night and a space cake,
yeah,
some
but
wine.
I don't know because very quickly throughout their scenes, because again the B story has very limited amount of scenes, but very quickly the old annoyances start cropping up. She doesn't like the fact that he's drinking at 9 in the morning, which I understand. He doesn't like the fact that she's very loud when eating, which I also understand. I can understand this is annoying. So it's all the small things start bubbling up. So they start again arguing about basically nothing.
Hmm.
So I don't know. They might have just in the middle of sex started arguing and she would have kicked him out of the bed and yeah.
Could have happened.
Yeah. Could have happened. I don't
I
know.
mean, I did think Ed would have. I mean, I think Ed had a green light, but he didn't want to at that point himself
Mm.
when she was touching his leg. Anyway, next episode maybe.
Next episode maybe. We do see some different aliens all in their own little biomes. I like the pinhead alien. Um, the squid alien to me looked a bit like the old-timey, slightly racist now representation of a Chinese man in the Wild West. His two squid-like things under his nose are really like the Fu Manchu mustache.
Oh, I didn't
Um,
notice that.
so that was a bit like interesting design choice. I'm not saying it's racist. It's just
Yeah,
visually it was like, oh, it's a bit like that, but green, and it's a bit more squid-like.
I
But
guess. Yeah,
the two protrusions really are a bit, yeah, the Fu Manchu mustache. I really can't explain it better than that.
yeah.
And there's also this green kid. Can't remember the kid's name. But yeah, there's a green kid who has absolutely no impact on the story whatsoever. But he's also there, just I think in general to show these are bad guys,
Yeah, the
the
cruelty.
Caliban, who are red aliens, a bit demonic looking, really. Who really, they don't even react to the fact they're being spoken to, even though in this case they're speaking the same language.
Yeah, which
Because
I thought was kind of funny.
yeah, because Ed and Kelly make a point of comparing this to our current zoos, and we feel superior to animals that we have locked up in there. And I do think again, the sapient sentient part, we talked about it with dogs before. In this case, I mean, it's the same kind of thing. A
Hmm.
lion is not, sorry, but a lion is not on the same level as a human. Whereby I don't mean we should abuse a lion, but I mean, if a lion could talk to me in a language I understand and gives me evidence of sentience and sapience, I would not keep the lion locked up if he promises not to eat me.
Yeah, but maybe you're thinking about it wrong. The lion can talk to you, and you understand the language as well, because I mean, you will notice when he's hungry. You will notice when he's sleepy.
Yeah, yeah, but in this case, we're talking exact same syntax, exact same vocabulary, everything.
Okay, but you don't know if this guy, or I guess it must be in some way, which I found was kind of stupid, if they speak English as their main language. If that's the case, then yeah, you're right. If not,
Well, I think so because the little kid, when Ed's sleeping, it's a little kid who wakes him up and he yells something like "Wake up!" and
Yeah,
then he says,
yeah,
talks to his mom, "I want to see the this or that." So yeah, I
I
mean,
guess. Yeah,
if it was just, if it was just a zookeeper, you could say, oh, he studied in order to better control um,
yeah,
his animals, but it's apparently general, and we don't know if it's a universal translator like in Star Trek, or if they just don't have an explanation. We don't know, but yeah, there's clearly no language barrier here to cross. Eh?
yeah. Well, I find it. Well, of course, I don't know
Yeah, and to
the.
me, the comparison fell a bit flat.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the
To me,
Kavalan. Well, it's a
yeah,
comparison that they would have made it in Star Trek as well, even though wouldn't
yeah,
agree.
yeah. But
Um,
also in Star Trek, I would feel that that's a bit a weak B story. Also, there I would be critical of this. But yeah, so basically we just get some talk about, oh, you'll never get out. There's this one alien who was there for more than 30 years. Ed and Kelly get into some typical argument scene, and right when they're about to go further into the argument, Alara shows up with Isaac. Our two stories combine. Again, there's not a lot to talk about with the B story from a scenes perspective. There's not a
mhm,
lot of it in here.
mhm.
But Alara shows up with Isaac, and they have a meeting with the zookeeper,
Yeah,
where Isaac tries to get away by bluffing and saying, "Oh, the humans that you have are actually the property of another zoo. Doesn't fly. Oh, but they're also diseased." And then it's like, "Oh, yeah, we need to purge them."
yeah.
So we get our only real action scene of the movie, and sorry, of the episode, and it's not really an action scene.
Mhm.
The green lasers. It's a bit, I don't know.
Inefficient to.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
at the very least, it's very inefficient. Maybe it's because it's more spectacle in this way. They
poison
can
gas.
dodge.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you have the lasers and your animals dodge and jump away
Oh,
and
I
you
guess.
film
Yeah.
it, you have a show.
That's
So
true.
that would be my explanation if I were the writer of this episode, but it's
Yeah.
not said in the episode. So you're right. If we think from it purely functionally, it is not exactly the most efficient way to go about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, so Isaac manages to convince the zookeeper to listen to his pet Zelean, Alara.
Mhm.
Um, who says, I'll trade you the two humans for something of more value, something irresistible.
Yeah.
And we don't immediately see what it is. We
I
get
thought, and I mean, maybe it's because I hated her already that I expected something really bad. So I thought she traded the egg for. Yeah.
oh, my mind hadn't even gone in that direction.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Luckily, she didn't.
I think no matter what her strength was, I think Boris would have killed her for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she was in command though, so.
Yeah, she was in command. But yeah, we get back to the Orville. So we don't immediately see what was traded. We get back to the Orville. She gets her Sapphire Star, which is a medal of some kind. And then we hear I called him Malone before by accident. We hear it was actually Malloy's ID, and he gave the zookeeper actually a human zoo, and we see what that means, and it's basically U.S. reality television, which
Yeah.
I did think was a good joke
It's a good
to
joke.
end the two stories. Was like,
Also,
yeah,
it's not unrealistic that they would find it interesting.
yeah, yeah. It's like, and what was it? Tens of thousands of hours, many, many, many different shows,
Yeah.
and we could just hear some of the audio. I don't know which
I don't
reality
know
show
which
it
it was
was,
either.
but it doesn't matter. It's like most of them. I was already, getting annoyed just hearing fragments within this other show. I was already getting, you know.
Yeah. Well, I did want to see more. I saw a cat fight coming, so
Yeah, but I don't know.
I
Yeah,
think it's a famous scene though. But I don't know. I don't know.
could be, could
I
be,
think I've seen some memes of it, but yeah,
could
I
be.
don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, I'm not a reality television kind of person, so
Me neither.
it was like more cringe than anything else, and we didn't even get to see a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's a bit the wrap up of our A and B story, and all we get at the end is we opened our episode with Bortus asking for some leave to hatch an egg, and we end the show. So we now get a feeling that even though everything felt rushed, it still took them 21 days.
Yeah, you didn't really get that.
Yeah, you didn't get that feel, but at least it's good they acknowledge the fact that traveling through space, even at quantum drive speeds, will take some time, which
Yeah.
some other shows kind of
Yeah, and
forget
so
sometimes.
about that, a girl comes out, a female.
Yes, a female comes out, and that's the end of her episode.
I really hope, well, I mean, I don't really hope, I guess I'm interested to see whether it's a common occurrence and
Hmm.
they actually either the females don't live for very long, or
Hmm.
two, they actually ritually sacrifice them. I hope it's not that.
Hmm.
Um, or on the other hand, yeah, I don't know what I had, but yeah, those two things I'm thinking
Hmm.
it is. Um, or it's like a very, very, very rare occurrence.
Okay,
And
so we have it might be that they just live very short and they kind of just don't mention anywhere that girls exist.
hmm
It's that they do it Spartan way and throw the girl off a cliff,
hmm
or it's just a rare occurrence and that's why they don't mention. Those are your three options. All
yeah,
right. All right. Without spoiling anything, those are some good ideas.
I hope it's the last option.
Yeah. So yeah, with your very first option, in fact, with any option, um, why would there be women if your race is unisex and can procreate in a unisex way?
Perhaps they ritually sacrifice the female children, and it's
Mm,
and they keep some kind of residue which they then use to actually fertilize the eggs or whatever, or produce the eggs or whatever. And it's actually a tradition and not a genetically
predetermined thing.
evolved thing. Yeah,
Yeah, but if it's tradition, then they would not be surprised that it's a girl.
yeah, that's true. Well, maybe they would. Maybe there's like a slight chance that it's a girl, but
Hmm.
still this happens, and maybe that's why they do it, so they can make as much of the stuff as. I mean, I'm just imagining.
I'm just letting you dig this hole deeper. It's gonna be funny.
I mean, so they just make as much of this residue as they can, so they can have as much eggs as they can, because it's very rare that a girl is actually born, so they have to make as much use of it as possible. And that's why they are sad, because I felt like he was kind of sad at the
Hmm.
end, not only surprised but also sad. And that's
A
because he
bit
knows.
disappointed, huh?
Yeah, disappointed, sad. I couldn't really tell.
Hmm.
And maybe it was because, yeah, because
Yeah.
she was, deemed
So that's your main
as.
theory. Girls are used as Regis.
That's not my main theory. That's not what I think it is. But that is, I mean, they could make a really interesting thing about it.
Hmm. Yeah, I
And
do agree there. I do agree there. All
yeah,
right. So, in general, let's do a bit of a wrap up. I think overall, you're in agreement that the show is still worth watching.
Yeah, of course. The only person I don't like is Ilara. Other than that, I like every character.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, you keep forgetting Bortus's name, so I'm gonna guess he's still not very high up your
well,
list of characters to
I'm starting
watch.
to like him. I'm starting to like him, even though his name is very forgettable.
Yeah, so I think just in general wrap up, we'll continue this. I don't think you want to quit anytime soon.
No, of course not.
Um, so yeah, in 2 weeks we'll get to episode 3 and all that entails. Just as a maybe final wrap up is again, guys, if you like this, hit that subscribe button. Don't hesitate to put in a comment. Let us know what you thought, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, what you could see um, us improve on. And next time, Zoser will again be taking the lead as we'll be discussing Arcane episode 3.
Yes, indeed. So, guys, yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening to us, and I hope we didn't fight too much for you guys.
That's
Uh,
our natural
if
state.
we, yeah, if that's a problem for you, I guess you should look for something else to listen to because that's gonna happen. But I hope you
Mm.
enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye
Take
bye.
care, everyone. Bye.